Check one, check, check. Okay, about 3 minutes till we call the meeting to order, so about 3 minutes. Do they have two from Tallahassee or just one? Okay, if council will begin to take their seats, we'll be getting started here in the next minute or so. right, it's right at the 10 o'clock hour, so I want to call this general council meeting of the quarterly meeting, the March 2nd, 2024, to order, and it's right at 10 o'clock. So we call that to order, and I ask the secretary to call the roll. Secretary?
Leetta Sampson. Anthony Conley.
Here.
John Narkemy. Rena Tiger. Anastasia Pittman. Terry Edwards. Ida Gonzalez. Here. Nancy Fixico. Leon Petit.
Here.
Joseph Billy.
Here.
Dolores Harjo. Here. Karen Forbright. Ann Borba. Here. Stephanie Lambert. Here. Sina Yeslith. Here. Lottie Cootie. Here. Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena.
Here.
David Frank.
Here.
Wayne Shaw.
Here.
Tiffany Thunder.
Here.
Catherine McCoy.
Here.
Charlie Hill.
Here.
Tommy Chupko.
Here.
Danita Harjo. Willis Dethridge.
Here.
Desiree Emerton.
Here.
I have 19 present, 8 absent.
Okay, with a count of 19 present and 8 absent, I declare that we do have a quorum. We are in session of this quarterly meeting of March 2024. At this time, if everyone would stand, I'm going to ask Mr. Willis Dethridge to offer the prayer this morning.
Our Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this day. I thank you, God, for this opportunity to serve the nation, the Seminole nation, Lord. And I just pray, Father, that each and every one of us in here would just study our hearts, study our minds, and vote the way we feel like we need to, and according to our bands. And I pray, Father, that every vote would be for the benefit of the Seminole nation. I thank you, God, for the things you do for me and for my family. And I pray, Father, that you be with a member of my family right now, Lord. We've got a struggle, and I don't know what you can make out without your help. So I just ask you, Father, to watch over him. Trust in my prayer. Amen.
Amen. We had a request from 2 bands to be placed on other business for appointments to the revision committee. What our standard historical practice has been, particularly on this specific committee, was that the bands give their nomination both for their primary and their alternate, and then we have historically just accepted that and put them on the floor. Council can vote, or they can approve by consensus as well. But this is to put it on other business at the end of the agenda. Are there, and that's for the Hitchiti band and the Tallahassee band. Now, is there any objections to this being added to other business at the end of new business? Under other business. There's no objection. Let it be known that those 2 items will be placed on other business. Okay, reading of the minutes of the last meeting, we have the September 23rd meeting of 2023, or we have the September meeting of 2023 and the December 2nd meeting of 2023. What is the council's desire on the reading of the minutes? Representative Gonzalez. Make a motion to approve both minutes, and Representative Sampson, you second that? Second. Okay, Representative Sampson seconded. This is to approve both minutes. Secretary?
Leetta Sampson. Yes. Anthony Conley. Yes. John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger. Anastasia Pittman. Terry Edwards. Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico.
Yes.
Leon Petit.
And this is on both together?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll abstain.
Say that
He
again.
abstained.
Okay. Joseph Billy. Dolores Harjo. Karen Fulbright. Ann Borba. Stephanie Lambert. Sina Yeslith. Lottie Cootie. Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena.
Yes.
David Frank.
Yes.
Tiffany Thunder.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Abstain.
Charlie Hill.
Abstain.
Tommy Chupko.
Yes.
Danita Harjo.
Yes.
Willis Dethridge. Desiree Emerton. I have 18 yeses, 5 abstain, 0 noes.
With a count of 18 yeses and 5 abstentions and 0 noes, we have approved those both minutes, 18 to 5. I declare that measure to have passed. Okay, now we're in unfinished business, TR 2023-77. And this is a resolution that's, originally started back and had its origin in a verbal resolution, and then it got tossed around here and there, and it got tabled at the last meeting. So here we are here. Is there desire to bring that off the table? Representative Shaw?
Yes.
Okay, well, it automatically, is on the agenda because it's unfinished business. So that's where we're at on TR 2023-77. Now, I want to make some clarity. I think maybe Assistant Chief had spoken to this, at the last meeting in December. I was absent because of under the weather, but appreciate him explaining, what the HIP program, most of us know, Housing Improvement Program, has been a program that is operated out of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Now, what happened is under ARPA, they had allowed a certain amount of funds, for all tribes, and then we were able to get, I believe, $500,000 at that time for that program. Now, what they did was a waiver, and that waiver was to be intact by the law until December of 2023. So what we have now is that's expired. It is expired. So therefore, the only way, Representative Shaw, to possibly do this within the context of the overall rules is if anything to do with HIP was removed, and then anything to do with that particular waiver is removed out of, it's not in this particular resolution, but anything to do with HIP, and then just create a new program. Now, I will say that will be a services-oriented program, which will still have the deadlines of December of 2024. So the floor is open now because it's been brought off the table. But those who how it would still work without totally pulling it away altogether. That's the only way.
What I don't understand is that until last Monday night at the Fancy meeting, when it was announced by the assistant chief, that this was an illegal resolution before we could explain to you that. So how is it illegal? And if it's illegal, how come our Attorney General didn't notify me prior to this so I could pull it or modify it?
I'm thinking it came up at the December quarterly meeting of the waiver by the introduced by the Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs. If I understand right, that was introduced at the December quarterly meeting as far as dialogue was concerned. So with that being done, there's no there's no, when you use the word illegal, that's a very strong term. What would be more practical to use is that the waiver has expired, and this resolution, unless it's amended, cannot go under the same guidelines as the HIP program that was introduced a while back. So if I'm sharing how it can still stay alive and go forward, although it would have to be implemented very quickly because it's still a service-oriented, it would still be a service-oriented program.
The reason I'm questioning this is that we have an attorney general that's supposed to look this stuff over. We have an administration that has to look this stuff over. And why would I, as a sponsor of this bill, not notified so I could speak to it at that time and change it and get it to in compliance? So right now, it sounds like that I'm dead in water unless we do some more resolutions.
Well, this is what I suggest as your chief and as your chairman of the council, that I'm going to hopefully call a special call meeting with all the funds that we have left from ARPA for different ideas from our tribe to come in at that time. This can be included in that if we so desire for it to be. But in its present wording, it's not going to be. It's not no foul by anybody. It's it was a desire from the floor, and I think Ocheezy Band knows that when they originally were the ones who had brought it to the attention of the administration. So at the time that it was originally introduced, it was not what you used the term illegal or expired. But now it is. So that's where we're at today. So those are the solutions for it. So if you desire to withdraw it and bring it back in different language at the April meeting with more specifics, I think you got the guts of it right here. You just got to take the HIP language out of it.
Well, I don't know exactly what kind of language you're looking for, so do we task that to the Attorney General?
Well, just like I said, the waiver deals with HIP, Housing Improvement Program, that's usually operated out of the Bureau, and that's what we equalized with ARPA funds to fund the last program that operated out of this. But the thing of it is that's as easy as 1, 2, 3, but we can put it into the Attorney General's hands and have her to set the language properly. We will have to get with it, though, because it is a service-oriented program if we kick this out, in the April meeting, and we'll have to get on it and make sure we need a solution. We don't want to come to December and then still have, $10,000 left because we haven't expended it. We want a solution to where any areas that stretch to 2026, because a lot of them are, they're within that spectrum. Anything that is ARPA funds that actually has deadlines of 26 instead of 24. Only service-oriented programs. I met with the Treasury this past week, and we got all those things clarified. So those are my suggestions to you. Is that how you desire to have it come back in April?
I don't want to withdraw it. I just want it amended. Whatever it takes, if it's good. But the thing is, I should have been notified, is what I'm saying. Before this, we're taking up a lot of the council and people's time right here trying to decipher if it's right or wrong.
Well, no one's trying to decipher that. I'm telling you what it is. And I'm sharing with you that because it was shared by the assistant chief at the last meeting, and it was withdrawn, and you took it back up at the last meeting. So that's where we're at. What is this your desire to do with this?
I yield the floor to Mr. Deathridge.
Representative Deathridge? He's trying not to see you.
Ms. A.G., would you be willing to help Mr. Shaw and draft a resolution that can be presented at the April meeting? This is important help Mr. Shaw get this thing taken care of for April.
Yes, I'll certainly be happy to help. I'm sorry I didn't understand, what the desire was. It said withdrawn. I should have reached out. I'm sorry. And yes, I will be happy to get that resolved with you and work with the executive office and, the people who administer the program.
Because the language of this is so filled with the HIP language, probably the proper process would be to withdraw it, bring that back at the April meeting.
When is that meeting in April gonna be?
Well, we haven't set a date, but it's going to be towards the end of April.
Towards the end of April?
Yeah, either the third or fourth week of April. And you will have, we may have public meetings prior to that if folks want to put input on what's left of the ARPA funding. Okay? We may try to schedule a public meeting prior to that to hear from our people. Representative Shaw, this be your second time speaking on the measure?
Okay, I'd like this on that next agenda, but we also need to know our treasury report on ARPA so we can make an informed decision as a council for our people rather than this week it comes up. I don't have time to go throw a band meeting together in a week.
Representative Shaw, do you have, you don't have access to the portal, do you? Or it should be in your packet, the treasurer's
I've got
report.
access to it, but excuse me, but you do it
It's,
like.
it's on
You do
there.
it like attorney work. What you do is you put a piece of it here and a piece of it over here and a piece of it over here. What
It's-
I'm trying to do is get it all in one report where it's all running consecutively instead of have to go back to page 8 after we were on page 30. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about format-wise? The
Yeah,
format, a little bit better to read, I suppose,
yeah.
for a layperson?
I
Okay,
yield the floor.
that note taken. Okay, now this, we still haven't resolved what we're doing with the resolution as it's written.
I'll leave it on there until our next meeting.
That won't be the same resolution, it will be a new one.
Then I'll reintroduce as amended.
Okay, then what happens to this one here? Are you going to withdraw this? Well, amendment takes place right here on the floor. She can't even do that. She can't even do that outside of, it being voted right here on the floor. Just, if you withdraw it, she'll bring it in and the language which ARPA funds can be used in the area of service. Will you agree to that? Because that's really a measure to do it, but here you go. Here's the Attorney General here.
Representative Petit, or Representative Shaw, did you?
Yeah, that,
Before, I'm not sure.
wait, that's his second time to speak on the same measure. Representative Petit?
Okay, you've mentioned that we need to either amend this or withdraw it is possibly what we should have to do today. Okay, what if we were to amend it, and one of the questions I want to ask you, AG, is, say, I know we want to take the HIP program out of it to make it compliant, okay? Can we just make it household assistance and help people with, say, like their fans or portable air conditioners, because we're fixing to come into a summertime, and because we've cut the calendar down to 9 months down to use this money, we need to try to get something up and going so that those are going to, work the program, can have time to get our people involved, and we can get some things going. And can we do that today?
I believe we should withdraw this resolution and redo the resolution in a way that's going to comply with the programs and get the most benefit for the people, and hopefully get it in a manner that we can use it through 2026 and not be cut off at 2024. But I would be happy to work with anyone who wants to work on this resolution and get it done as quickly as possible, even as soon as next week,
What-
so that it'll be ready for everyone to review.
What I would recommend, Representative Petit, is that the original ones who brought the concept of extended and adding more funds, plus a representative, which is from the Ocheesy Band, and representative from the Theophily Band. Are y'all willing to meet with the Attorney General, even if it's a virtual meeting or in-person meeting, for what you would want? Because Representative Petit is suggesting something total as far as content of the resolution that is before us. He was recommending, you know, not necessarily making it more broad, but maybe the services, you know, for this a little bit different than that's written in this particular resolution. Are you willing to meet with the Attorney General?
I understand what you're saying, but the thing is, the last time we did that with the HIP program that's in there, how many homes did we fix? We put in $500,000 or $1 million, whatever it was.
If you want to change it, this would be the time to do that. That's what the council approved in that particular measure. We do have here in this particular measure that's still there, housing improvement written all into that area, $15,000 for those individuals who previously applied, which was the list that was ongoing by HIP, which there was a lot of applications. So in this resolution, it's asking that same list that was gathered back in that time be utilized. So those are things that need to be discussed and probably, you know, needs to be considered. Why don't y'all meet with the Attorney General and hash it out? We'll get it on the April meeting. And then, Mr. Petit, if you have some suggestions for them, you know, go ahead and speak from your band as well. I think that would do it. Representative from the Ocheesy Band, Representative Lena.
Yes, we are willing to sit and visit with your band for this.
Okay, so that the old one remains on the table?
Chair.
We can leave it there and introduce new legislation, and then if you desire to not act on it, then it fails from getting attention. So we can go from there. So we can move on. Representative Fulbright, then Representative Gonzalez.
I feel like whenever this meeting is held, a virtual meeting, or however you hold it, that all bands should be privy to that meeting, and they could listen in, and if there's any input they would like, they should have the same opportunity as Ocheesy and this band.
Well, it won't be an official council meeting, so it can be an announced meeting. And if you're a council representative interested in that meeting, then go to it.
Well, let us know about it, that's all, you know.
Okay. All right. Representative Gonzalez?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Originally, this resolution was withdrawn by the Ocheesy Band due to the language. And they introduced a new resolution on the floor, which was not accepted by council. And they did not get approval to use this money, and it did not go through the Finance Committee. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Okay, well, we plan on having a finance committee. We'll put it up where it needs to be, okay? I know there's all kinds of processes to get to the floor, okay? So we'll make sure that it's lined up in that manner this next round. All right, let's move on. We're in reports of committees. We are in reports of committees. What's the desire of the council? Representative McCoy?
Let's go ahead and have the princesses come up since they're here. Would that be all right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Would it be okay for the princesses to come up? They're here in person. Yes? Or
yeah.
the committee, we'll just call the whole committee.
Oh, yeah, there's a microphone for them right here.
Okay, then Princess Committee and the princesses.
Okay. Princesses are here. At least two, I believe, are here. Little Miss is not here this morning. If you could just kind of pull that microphone over about right here so you won't get as much feedback when you speak into it. And then, Adam, fix them up, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I turn it this way? SJ, Seminole, Idoa, Mathlaken, Chofigi Ovan, Sajal Fechkis, Genesis Talamasi Jojif Gados, Seminole Legidos, Seminole Muskogee Choctaw Madoas, Tallahassee Idolwat, Fushwogi Doas, Hiowat Miss Seminole Nation of Oklahoma Doas, Mado. Hello, good morning. In my heart, I'm happy to be here on behalf of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. I live in Seminole, Oklahoma, and my name is Genesis Tallahassee. I'm Seminole, Muskogee Creek, and Choctaw, and I am the current Miss Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Thank you all for being here. Mado.
Thank you.
Hitche Mahidos, Olivia Wapskini Choa Chipkudos, Heowat Junior Miss Seminole Nation of Oklahoma Does, Ochizi Omidoados, Nagoji Omiligidos, Heya Saja Fechki Does. Hello, my name is Olivia Wapskini. I'm the current Junior Miss Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. I'm Ochizi Band and I am Bear Clan, and it's good you all have come today. Mado.
Break that back just a little bit to take this last.
Hello,
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
my name is Elisa Kilo, and I'm currently the only Princess Committee member. Kind of running all three positions at the time, even though I'm actually the interim chairperson. I was just voted in and at our last quarterly meeting, and I don't know if you have any questions for me, or what can I answer for you today?
Okay. I just wanted to have the princesses come up and introduce yourselves, and I'll relinquish the floor for anyone who has questions for the committee.
Okay, Mado.
Any other questions for the Princess Committee? Representative Shaw.
Question I have, I was there when they put the other crowns on. Where are they now?
The girls still have their crowns. However, there's an issue with the way that they were made. A couple of the crowns have actually fallen. The beadwork was not strong enough and it's flimsy. So we have to get them back to the creators who made these to make them a little bit stronger. But they still have them right now. We're just in the middle of contacting the people that who did make the crowns.
The reason I'm asking is because they look more comfortable than the ones they're wearing right now. And I feel for you girls, because those are, I'm glad I don't have to wear one.
Me too.
They did wear them a lot until they fell out.
Pretty soon they're gonna have ridge lines right there.
I think they already do. Just a little permanent scar there.
Any other questions?
Not so much for the Princess Committee, but for the administration. My granddad, how come so many had to go to the Seminole Nation, or Seminole Tribe of Florida, fair this year, and all the rumors that need to be laid down?
Well, we don't, I know this council sometimes goes by hearsay and rumors and all that kind of thing. Normally the executive office don't entertain those kind of things unless there's facts to it. And there was a lot of things that was put out there that absolutely were not true at all. And how that gets, just like you said, rumors, rumor mill, and then gets out in the public as if it's truths. There's an old saying that falsehoods that get around the world 10 times before truth has its chance to get its boots on, and sometimes that's a true statement. But I will say this from the executive office is that I've driven it many times when I lived there, for 8 years, and when I was younger, and it takes several drivers to be able to switch off, to be able to go down there, as well as the drivers must be hold our liability and our insurance as well. So it's better for an employee of the Seminole Nation that is covered by our existing policies of the Seminole Nation to be able to be a driver or chaperone, as you may call it. So that's the reason for so many going down there. And the the Honor Guard went down there. Obviously, they were competing in that competition they had down there, and they represented us well. And I want to say this, that the princesses represented us well down there too. As most of you know, have been in good relationships with the leadership of the Seminole Tribe of Florida for a long time. They have brand new leadership now, and those relationships are still there. Matter of fact, for the first time that I can recall, the Seminole Tribe of Florida is coming here next week to meet with at least their leadership, their upper leadership is coming next week to meet with both our tribal courts and with the executive office. So those relationships still continue to go on between the Seminole Nation and Seminole Tribe of Florida. So that's a good thing. Representative Cootie?
Since there's rumors and everything, you're saying, so the rumors came out of your administration, so can you explain to us why some people flew down there and everything, and who paid for it? And we understood that there was a ban, there was something wrong with a ban tag or something. So explain to us so that we understand what took place down there.
I want to say something. This is not Lewis Johnson's administration. It's not Brian T. Palmer's administration. This is the people's administration. The people voted us in as the chief and assistant chief in the last election. And what I would say to that, since there are rumors, we shouldn't even entertain it here on the council floor. Hearsays, we shouldn't entertain it here on the council floor. But if you put it in writing, I will answer you in writing. I will. I saw Representative Billy's hand first. Representative Billy, then Representative Deathridge.
Yes, you're saying there are rumors, but your interim chairman is the one that broke deep.
I didn't say they're rumors. It's coming from the council floor.
You said rumor.
It's coming from the council floor. And I'm just corresponding to that.
Again, and we asked the interim chairman, so, I'd like to hear that for her.
All right. You can ask her any question you want, but it was directed to me as the chairman of the council and chief of this nation. All right. Did we have anything else on the Princess Committee?
Well, one other thing, I'll just come right out and say it. I did not like the disrespect that happened at the last Princess Committee meeting.
Yes.
To one of our elders by not even a Princess Committee member. And can't be a Princess Committee member. But the thing is, I don't like the disrespect that was shown to not only an elder, but one of our honorable council people. And I didn't hear no apologies from anybody. And I feel that, if I'd have been disrespected like that, even at my age, I might have hit somebody. But it's what happened, and if you want that council member to stand up, I can have them stand up and tell you what happened in there.
We don't need to go into that area. I think that whole area probably is documented very well. Whatever needs to happen at the committee level needs to be addressed in that area. I don't go to those meetings. I don't go to,
You got a committee member that's new, doesn't really understand completely what's going on, and the bickering that's happening, but the thing is, even somebody as old as I am, I respect them and their words. I don't say nothing bad about nobody on that, in front of everybody. That's what happened. Had a meeting, and I said he was disrespectful to one of our elders, and the council representative at that. But, and then to storm out like that person did, and
well, one thing you deal with when you deal with people and lives, you have different dynamics. I've seen it right here on this council floor. I've seen somebody dragged off this council floor in handcuffs and taken out of the council by, at that time, Lighthorse. So, I know what disrespect is. I've had a little taste of it myself over the years. But what I'll do is I'll meet with the Princesses Committee, see what actually happened in that meeting, and if there deems to be, an apology that is forthcoming, then it will be forthcoming if it deems that is is the case. And I appreciate your comments, Representative Shaw. Okay, I saw Representative Lena and then Representative Cootie. I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Representative Dentridge, but that doesn't mean.
I had it up until it was too hard to pull up.
Oh, did you see that as disrespect? Because I didn't see you. If I saw you, I'd thought on you.
Okay, Rico, we all had a chance to hear and, read stuff, but, in my opinion, it's behind us. No one really got hurt by the situation. We all made it back safely. My point is, we must do better though, and we can do better. We gotta learn from this lesson. And today we have opportunity to give this lady some help. And I pray that we, think with the right mind, and it's a need for her. She does need people to help her on this committee. Therefore, the workers that are going to help drive them, whatever it may be, may not have to be so involved in what they're doing every day. So if we pass this resolutions today, it would be helpful to her, I believe. At this time, it should be a memorable moment for these young ladies. Being princes of the Seminole Nation. That's a high honor. And I follow them around here and there. They do a great job. The one that's missing also. All four of them. I see them together all the time. And I appreciate how they go out there for the nation. But like I say, we have an opportunity to give them some help today. I pray that we do that.
Representative Cootie, then Representative Dethridge, and I see Representative Borba, and then Representative Yesleth. Let's try to keep it in that.
I think all these questions are coming out because we attended the Princess Committee meeting, and it seems like they were just kind of disorganizing. I think a lot of things, needed help while they were there, and because of people that were supposed to be responsible for transportation was running late, and they were getting to go to the meeting late to the program. And I was once on the Princess Committee, once before, and the chaperones were the committee members, and we stayed with the girls the whole time. And if the family wanted to go, they could go there. They went on their own, and the expense came out of their pocket. And we would stay with the girls that would stay with us with the whole program. And so I think that it's good for the parents to be involved, but there's other things they want to do. They might, take off and for instance, don't know which way to go, whatever. But I do think that was what was happening. They were not really organized, from my understanding. And so it is tough. It is, you got a schedule to go by. And I was working with the elders. That was the same way. We had traveled. We traveled a lot, and we had to be on time. The buses were ready to go at certain times. So, when you have a schedule to follow, you have to follow it, and you can't be late because then people are talking and saying, they're never here on time or whatever. But Mr. Luna is correct. We can help them all. We can help, but if we don't, know where you're at, what you're doing, or what your needs are, we can't help you. But here it is, and it's like y'all had fundraiser, and I asked you as a chairperson to give me a list.
I have some copies for you that I brought today.
And what I wanted her to make the list for was that we as council representatives, they're representing us. So I think with the list that they give us, we should donate whatever we need to donate. This last fundraiser they had, it wasn't much. I donated, meat for them because they had regular coffee. So you can donate cups or whatever, and they probably have a list of what they're gonna have, fundraiser. So I think, like I said again, it's not gonna take much from out of your pocket, just donors to help us because they don't have a whole lot of money. And so that's what I wanted to say. So when she brings this, we'll pass it out, so we'll have it. And if, fundraiser time comes, we all can kick in and help them. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you for those words, Representative Cootie. We have Representative Dethridge, Representative Borba, then Representative Yesleth, and we are getting close to the time limitations for this particular committee. Let's go in that order. and then you can comment at the end, okay? Representative Dethridge.
This has nothing to do with the Princess Committee, unless, are we still on the Princess Committee?
Yes, we are. Okay. Okay, thank you, Representative Dethridge. Representative Borba?
Yes, I just wanted to commend our princesses. I think they look absolutely beautiful, and every time I've seen them out, they represent well. So I'm very, very proud of you girls. And can you kind of tell us some of the upcoming events that you have coming?
Yes, that's kind of what I wanted to get to is on March 23rd, we are going to have our stomp dance, our annual stomp dance. And as of right now, it is scheduled at the gymnasium over here. However, if the weather is nice, because you know how Oklahoma can be hot or cold all the time, if it is nice, we plan to move it over here to the new arena. And we would love for anyone who is able to volunteer to help even sell raffle tickets or who can donate items to raffle, help in the concession stand. We definitely do need a lot of help. With that being said, we're also having a golf tournament come April the 12th. I'm still looking for sponsors. We've actually had some good, a good turnout already for sponsors, but I still have places for more. And that is on April the 12th. And if you'd like to come out that day, please feel free to do so. We're looking for somebody to grill some burgers and hot dogs. If you can grill, that's not my thing. But maybe you
Okay,
can.
let's continue on. Representative Yesleth?
Yes, I'd just like to apologize to the girls for anything you've had to witness and endure. Keep your heads up, and you're doing a good job.
Okay, if that's all the questions for the princess, let's give them a hand because they have been great representatives of the Seminole Nation through their tenure. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Representative Dethridge. Representative Dethridge.
I got two paragraphs of this six-page presentation I want to read. It says, earlier this month, I attended the first day of the Oklahoma Legislative 2024 regular session, along with several other tribal leaders. I met with legislators and observed the Oklahoma Governor's State of the State address. We showed up because we understand that the success of the tribal nations and the state of Oklahoma are closely tied. When it comes to creating jobs and growing the economy, attracting tourism, protecting public safety, providing world-class health care, and much more. Thriving tribal nations are Oklahoma's most unique and competitive advantage. My question is, I see this on the television. I happen not to see you or the assistant chief. So were both of y'all out of town, out of state, or something on this particular day?
Well, I'm not sure about the date. Do you have the date on that?
No, I don't have the date.
Okay, well, I
I just noticed that
I
there were
can't.
tribal members and ours wasn't there.
Well, I will show you this. We're in the mix. We don't have to be Mr. Pictures about it. We don't have to go and make a big hoopla about it. But we're in the mix. We talk with with the intergovernmental folks that's
So
involved.
you're telling me that you chose not to go?
No, I'm telling you, we're in the mix, and this is not a committee item. And by now, you should know that we're in the committees. Any other committees, boards, and commissions at this time? Representative McCoy.
SNGE.
It's not a committee. We're on an agenda item.
Seminole Nation Gaming Enterprise is under reports of committees.
It's boards, commissions, under tribal law. It's on the agenda. Yeah, sure. You want to call them up? Okay. SNGE, have a representative here? You can explain that from the microphone.
Okay, I'll have him repeat it.
Yes, just right there, that microphone there.
Morning, my name's Chuck Obutta. I'm the Gaming Enterprise Manager for Seminole Nation Gaming Enterprise.
Chuck, thank you for coming up here. Can you just repeat what you told?
Yes, Mr. Billy Shepard, he will not be here today. He has a prior engagement. He is at a groundbreaking for the Iowa tribe, I think, for their casino. He was going to try to make it down here once he's done with that, but
But he currently still is your only board member?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we were talking about rumors and all this stuff. I just want clarification. Has anything changed since you have taken over there and as a leader over there, as in employee morale?
Yeah.
More nepotism, making sure things are going by the rules, no favoritism to employees, stuff like that?
Definitely. We actually put our HR, our department back in place. We were missing a lot of that, but I have hired somebody, and then we are working with our teams, our management teams, and whenever anything arises, we take that into consideration and make sure we address it when we can.
And how is your working relationship with your board member, Mr. Shepard? Are you guys on the same page, seeing eye to eye, or there's some?
There's a little bit. I mean, I would meet with them once a month. Like we just had a meeting on Monday, basically going over the things that I think needs to be addressed. Like I said, there's daily operation stuff that I discuss with him. But yeah, he's more in tune to whenever I do make a suggestion or something that he usually goes along with it. But it's just, we just have the one board member, so it's kind of, I mean, he's the only guy that can say yes or no, so.
Okay, and one of the questions I've heard, so just clarify me if you haven't heard this, are we still doing native preference, whether it's tribal or native preference, or are we hiring other races over our own that may be
No,
qualified?
we do give native preference, especially Seminole tribal members. They do have preference. What we're running into a lot is a lot of them that we're bringing in have medical marijuana cards, and that kind of takes them off of our, we can't hire them because they use medical marijuana. Unless we get something passed through our council, a process of how we can utilize those employees. I mean, that's something that maybe a discussion we need to make, or have somebody put a resolution in for that, because it does limit us, our labor pool. I mean, we get a lot, people come in, but that's it. I mean, if they have their medical marijuana card, we're unable to hire them.
Okay, and so if there's any complaints, if some employees are experiencing any kind of bullying or favoritism, can that be reported to your HR department?
Yes.
Okay, without fear of that person
Exactly.
being singled out?
Definitely.
Okay, and does everyone usually work the full shift unless they have prior approval for vacation leave or leaving early?
Excuse me, can you repeat it?
Everyone working their full shift, like whatever their time shift is, or some
yeah.
people cutting out like
Yeah.
30 minutes early off the clock?
Exactly. They'll have to ask for if they want to leave early. I mean, usually it's up to the manager, supervisor, if they're gonna allow them to do that. But usually it's something, if they have a doctor's appointment or they request time off, because we do have a system in place to where they can request time off, and then it gets approved that way.
Okay, I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
We also have Mr. Casey here with Maple Leaf. I do know that I think maybe council had asked for them to be here at this quarterly meeting. If somebody asked him to approach the floor, then that would be fine too. Any other questions for Mr. Hobart at this time? Representative Shaw?
On your lighting up at I-40, I noticed you got some of it running right, but when are y'all gonna do something about the river mist down there?
I actually, we're the electrician company that we're going to use is going through the licensing process right now. So as soon as he gets his license through the gaming commission, he's going to go down there and get a light put in for us. because we got work that needs to be done at I-42. It's just that the company we used in the past, they were overcharging us, and it's just, there was nobody going out taking bids on a lot of these projects that we have. And now, once I've done that, it's almost 50% less than what this guy was charging us. So we're gonna, it's gonna get taken care of. I just waiting for him to get through the process.
Well, like I said, I'm the only one from down there in the area.
Yeah.
And last night, I lived down there and I almost went by. If it wasn't for the convenience store, I wouldn't have seen that we had, although the parking lots were full.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna address it. We're gonna.
Representative Fulbright?
Yes, did you say Maple Leaf was here and we could, and can we hear from him?
Not the whole delegate, but there is somebody from Maple Leaf here.
Yeah.
Do you desire for them to come?
Please.
Casey? There's no, I know some council asked for them to be here at this quarterly meeting, so.
Yeah. Good to see you. Yes, hello. Good morning. Chief Johnson, Assistant Chief Palmer, Attorney General Duvall. Thank you for allowing me to come and address you all. Let me see if I can get this a little higher. Oh, well, we'll just work with it. And members of the General Council, nice to be with you. Thank you for allowing me to address you. My name is Casey Schulberg. I'm the Managing Director for Maple Leaf Resorts in Oklahoma. And I moved here in October to keep shepherding this project forward. So, as you know, on the 26th of August, you signed a resolution to allow Chairman Shepherd to negotiate a consulting agreement with Maple Leaf Resorts. And so that process started. Shortly after, we hired a well-known attorney here in Oklahoma named William Norman. He's a tribe member. In fact, the two lawyers we've hired here have both been tribe members, Joe Williams and William Norman. This is kind of in keeping with our desire to hire tribe members wherever we can. So we started the process of negotiating the agreement. So we followed strictly the guidelines that the resolution mapped out. With one exception. We looked at the financials because we signed an NDA, and we got the financials from Chairman Shepherd, and we saw that the casino operations, well, we knew this, were not really doing great business, so we elected voluntarily to reduce our fee by half for the first 6 months to make sure that it wasn't a burden on the nation while we get the revenues geared up and cranked up. And I want to caution everybody, first of all, we don't have the consulting agreement back from the NIGC yet. I'm sure many of you know the process. You submit it unsigned when the parties are agreed, and then the NIGC has to sign off and they give you a declination letter or comments. So we're waiting for that to happen. It went to them on the 5th of February. That process usually takes 6 to 8 weeks. Now, the chairman of the NIGC resigned 10 days ago, so we don't know if that's going to affect the timeline, but we addressed it to the vice chair, Angela Cisneros. So as far as we know, the timing is going to be what is predicted, 6 to 8 weeks. So that would put us maybe end of March, beginning of April. And then that puts us in the position where we can just consult. And we want to be really, really clear, and we want to be very by the book, because we're really sticklers about respecting the guidelines of the NIGC. So that will allow us to consult, which means that we make recommendations. We have a lot of recommendations that we'd like to get going, but we can't do anything until we get that declination letter back from the NIGC. And even then, we're in a position to consult. Once we get the consulting agreement going, we will start to draft a management agreement, which will take a while. And the management agreement is something that you will all be involved with, because that has to be approved by another council resolution. So that's about where we are in the process. At the same time, we're doing due diligence on the larger resort. As you know, our plan was to create quite a colossal resort there, spreading west and south of I-40 and 399 or 377. So that process is underway. We're doing due diligence with engineers and whatnot, and kind of laying the groundwork. We're trying to build this very slowly and methodically, so that we have a real firm base when we're ready to go and go to the next step. So it takes time, and I would ask your indulgence. It may take more time than we all wish, but that's the process. It's a big ambitious project, and it just takes time to put all the pieces in place. So that's about where we are. I'm very enthused. I moved here in October. That should be some gesture of how confident we are that this project will come online. And Mike Uligio has a lot of plans that we're going to try to put in place with Mr. Holbata to drive interest, enthusiasm within the ranks of the employees, and some ideas on how we can generate more revenue for the tribe. So we're eager to get started, but we're respectful of the process. I'm happy to take any questions if you have them, and I know a few of you. I've gotten to know a few of you. I'm eager to get to know everybody, in the next few months. Say hello and just exchange ideas whenever that would be appropriate. Anybody got a question?
Okay. Oh, I see. Representative Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, you said that the process would take a little time after we got the agreement done. What is the timeline that you project?
Yeah.
What would the process be after we reach the consulting?
Right.
agreement?
So once we get the declination letter back from the NIGC, then we can start recommending things. But the real significant uplift will probably not happen for 6 months, because we need to get more new inventory there on the floor. I mean, you've got some machines that are dated from 2006, and they're pretty stale. So Mike Uligio has great contacts to some of those vending machines, slot machine providers. He's confident we can get better quality machines for less than we're paying now and get them rotated in. So that'll be an opportunity, and that process alone takes about 3 months to order them and get them in-house. So at the same time, we'll be organizing a kind of a promotion to inaugurate that with maybe some facelifts in the three venues, because we want to address all 3 venues. So it's just going to take a little while. And the first thing we'll have to do, I mean, we've gotten quite a bit of information from Chairman Shepard in terms of the financials, how it's doing month to month. And we saw that there's 28% rotation, turnover on the employees. That's high. So we want to see if we can address that too. But it's going to, for the first couple of months, we're just going to be basically getting under the hood and seeing really what is going on and where we can be of help, and then order some new inventory. So within about 6 months, we should be able to see some significant uptick in the revenues, hopefully.
Thank you. Would that include the layout of the machines, the new machines?
Oh yeah. The floor plan is crucial, and Mike is such a seasoned expert on that. In fact, Mike Uligio, our chief gaming guy, is often called upon to be an expert witness for the NIGC. He was called just last week for a dispute that they had. So he's highly regarded over at the NIGC, and we're putting in our background packets now with the SNGA. I put mine in yesterday, and he's putting his in on Monday, and we'll get the business vendor in next week. Yes, ma'am.
Representative Thunder.
Yes, I had a question. Have y'all got to go out and actually survey what the layout is going to be for the new resort, and as well as, do you have a projection date on groundbreaking?
Well, that's a good question. This is pretty confidential, but William Norman, our lawyer, is confident that we should be able to move the casino down Route I-40. The advantage would be we can keep the present-day I-40 casino going. We don't have to tear it down to build a new one, because otherwise we'd be restricted to that 3.3 acres of trust land. But William Norman, who's a very prominent lawyer in Oklahoma, he's quite confident we can move the casino down I-40. So we're going through some due diligence now, getting some engineering, some soil samples, and that kind of thing. There's a lot of work that has to be done in terms of master planning of the resort. it's going to take a few years before it looks like we can be open to the public. It's going to take a few years. I would say 2026 or 27. So.
And one of the reasons, and I know that many of you understand this over the years, is that there's a process in that, especially if they were to move on and become that second part of that resolution passed, the company that helps to manage that. So it's a process that there is. I don't know whose phone that is, but if you can just turn your phones down, that helps us move on. It happens, doesn't it? But anyway, Representative Thunder, it's a process to get to that point, and even for them to even comment, on that, it's not. We're not there yet. Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, we have to kind of curb our enthusiasm and tamp down expectations because it's a colossal project, and it's just going to take a while to get, lay in the groundwork. I'm doing something else. I'm trying to work with the Seminole State College to create a proving ground for employees, training academies. We may even institute the first comprehensive gaming school in Oklahoma. It could be operating out of Seminole State College to train with a focus on training tribal members, because we're going to have a lot of divisions in this resort when it gets up and running. We're going to have hospitality, we're going to have retail, we're going to have gaming, we're going to have entertainment, we're going to have recreation. So all those people need to be trained to run those divisions. So we're talking about laying that in now, because to get those curriculums built into the college process takes a couple of years. So we would hopefully do that simultaneously to the development process, so that when we're ready to open, we've got some people that already have vocational certificates or degrees that can come in to help manage the resort. So that's an exciting opportunity. We're looking at that too.
Okay, we're right at the time limit for this particular item. Is there any other questions? And I know that Casey had mentioned that William Norman, most of us are familiar with great law firms in Indian country. Hobbs, Strauss, Dean, and Walker. They were the attorneys, and may still be possibly involved with the Seminole Tribe of Florida as well. They were their attorneys for years and years. Hobbs, Strauss, Dean, and Walker. So we're a reputable law firm in Indian country. No other questions? Then we'll bring this particular item to a close.
Okay, Mado, thank you.
Mr. Hoboto, thank you. Okay, we're still under committees, boards, commissions, and it's about the 11 o'clock hour. Representative Cootie, then I saw Representative Thunder, then I saw your hand, Representative Fulbright, in that order. Representative Cootie. What program? Older American program? I don't think that we have anyone this morning from OAP. Yeah. No one this morning from OAP.
Well, I just wanted to, as last time we had a meeting, you were not here, but the director came before us and told us that there are so many things that's going wrong out there, and she, reported to us, and I don't know how many, if anybody took care of her or not, but evidently not, because a couple of weeks ago, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they were closed down for some reason, water purpose or whatever. And then Monday they were closed again, and so.
I think.
I went out there and talked to them as a staff and talking with some of the seniors out there. They're saying there's so many problems out there.
Are you just commenting, or are you part of that? Are you a committee? I want to comment on something you made, since words are just thrown out there with no. Well, I will say those things that were brought up in the last council meeting, they have been corrected. They have been corrected. You said 2 weeks ago they have been corrected. I believe around Valentine's Day, around that period, not quite 2 weeks ago. So, all right, we don't have that committee here or any representative here. Any other committees? I know, but there's no committee. You're just making comments, Representative Cootie.
I want to ask you a question.
I'm not a committee.
No, you're not, but, I mean, you're the head. I mean, you work for the people.
I do. I do.
Now, what I want to know is the water situation been fixed? Because they're having a problem out there for that. And those of you that maybe don't, but we're supposed to be working for the people, and they're out there, they don't know what's going on. And here we are, we sit here and try to make decisions.
Well, I know nobody wants to say point of order because there's no committee before you, but we're filling the air with words. Those things have been corrected, those concerns, I will say that. I know our procurement director's here. She knows, the process of how we correct things as far as getting the contractors out there to address any issues. And I know she was looking at me saying it's corrected. I knew that it was as well. Okay. Representative Thunder.
Yes, I'd like to call for Veterans Committee.
Veterans?
Good morning, Walter Larney. I'm the chairman of the Veterans Committee. Recently, back in December, the VSO, he resigned, and we went through the process of trying to get other people in for the VSO job. And we talked with one, but we don't know about the other two. We never did meet with them or see if they're qualified to do what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm just kind of, because Mr. Sewell and I, we talked with the chief and HR about sitting in on the interviews of the candidates, but we're privy to that. So I don't know if the one, I understand that one of them was qualified, but the other one, we didn't know. But here's a pastor at a church, but I don't know. Well, dealings that we had with Galen, says always gone when we needed him. So I don't know if he's going to be around or what.
Well, since you don't know, Mr. Lonnie, we have hired a former officer who is actually also a tribal member, and he started this past Monday, and I believe we can have full confidence, not only as the executive office, but as a tribal council. He's going to do a good job. He's well qualified. Most likely the most qualified candidate we've had since the Veterans Center has been available. So what we have is someone that's very experienced in that area, and he's Eric Foster is his name, Eric Foster, and he's from around originally the Conwell area as well. So we do several interviews, and that was the candidate that actually was selected. So I think you're going to find him to be somebody who is a go-getter, a former officer, and so you don't get to be officer unless you know what you're doing a lot of times.
My experience with officers, some of them they don't.
Yeah.
And
that may
master sergeants and stuff like that, they do more with the personnel than the officer.
We had a checkbox list, and he filled.
But with our question, you talked to you about.
Do you have a report to give to the general counsel?
That's what I'm doing, reporting on it.
Continue. Any questions for Mr. Larney?
Is there any maybe fundraising ideas that y'all do have in place, or any type of event that may be coming up?
Well, we're supposed to have a motorcycle club coming in, but since Galen was privy to that, we didn't know when it's going to be. We said, rolling with wreaths, we, done that last December. We brought some wreaths down here, put on these veterans' graves, and the police went at the flagpole. And, there wasn't nobody here, Galen wasn't even here.
Any, Representative Pittman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Larney. Do you have an email address?
Yes,
We can send you these questions, and then you have an opportunity to send us the activities and all the things that you're working on.
It's Shawnee_Jarhead01@yahoo.com.
Shawnee_
Jarhead,
spell it for me.
J-A, just like it sounds, Jarhead.
Oh, okay. I just want to.
01@yahoo.com.
01@yahoo.com?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Representative Fixico, then Representative Cootie.
May I ask them to use the mics? I'm Bohigo.
Pardon me?
I want them to ask, I'm asking them to use your mics. I'm Bohigo.
She can't hardly hear you.
Yeah.
Can you get closer to your microphone?
Okay.
I'm requesting them to use their mics. I can't hear what you're saying.
No better?
Did you have a question, Representative Cootie?
Last time Mr. Sewell came up, we talked about the veterans and what he'd like to do, that, has he updated you on anything that he's doing?
He's supposed to be here Tuesday, and we're going to go up to, have a meeting with the new VSO, because right now we don't have anything in place for a director. So he's supposed to be just a VSO. Well, we haven't planned it yet. Well, we're trying to find grants, look for grants to do that.
Any other questions for Mr. Larney? Any other questions? If there's no further questions, then we'll move from this item. Thank you. Thank you, Walter. Appreciate it. Representative Fulbright.
Yes, can we have the Trust Fund Management Board get an update?
There are representatives from Trust Fund Management here.
Hiya.
Hi, John. I just wanted to get an update how we are on funding and plans coming up.
Well, as last time I was asked at the meeting, we did have a meeting. We are currently we have submitted a request from a couple of banks to supply us numbers on what the advantages to us should we remove our funds from the Office of Special Trustee. It is a slippery slope because the prevailing idea is that once we remove it from trust, it would become taxable. Any funds that we expend from that would become taxable, which means that if a family receives money for clothing, at the end of the year they'd have to be taxed for it. They'd have to submit tax forms for it, or there are the, or, no? Once we remove them from trust, they would become taxable.
It'd still be tribal funds. We're still a sovereign nation.
Yes, they will not be taxable.
Okay, okay. That was the other option I was going to mention, that the bank is going to present options for us to keep them in non-taxable. So it is we're waiting on those banks to present us their proposals and the ramifications of the advantages to us. The downside is, of course, as I mentioned last time, if we currently, the investments that we have it in do offer a return. They've always provided a return, but it has decreased a little bit over the years. What has been the big drain on it is when this fund was first created, we had just a few thousand members. Now we've blossomed to almost 20,000, and the income hasn't really improved any. So now, over the years, even if those of us that have been on this council long enough remember that even under previous board members, we've had them come up here and say that the option for them was to remove it out of trust and put it into an account. And the downside to that is it's an unknown territory. If we have higher rate of return, then we accept higher risk, which is to say that we'd have to rely heavily on the U.S. economy. If the U.S. economy tanks, then so will our investment. And that is something that we'll have to take into account. As I said, we're waiting on the banks to come back to us, offer their proposals about what they can offer us, and we'll have to go from there. Because
So are you, who's going to the banks? Who is doing the talking at the banks? Does the treasurer do this, or does it
the treasurer has contacted the banks, and they will offer a presentation to the board.
Then he attends your board meetings,
He was at our last board meeting, yes.
but he doesn't attend all of them,
Probably not.
and he's supposed to?
He did organize the meeting between us and these banks. But ultimately, it's going to have to fall to the board to make that decision.
Yes.
Yes.
How much money are we talking about here? Excuse me.
John, how much money do we currently have invested in that market out there?
In which one?
Is Arizona where the money is now? The report that we get is New Mexico, one of those.
Florida
New
Land
Mexico,
Trust.
yeah, excuse me for the state. How much money do we have, Seminole Nation have out there at this time?
Well, I mean, the base amount is 36, and I believe she had mentioned somewhere around 1.3 that we have currently unspent, which goes to programs. So, I mean, it is, next year there'll be less.
Investments, it's close to $35 million.
35. Okay, but over the years, I mean, we've gone from having an excess of funds to now we don't really have enough, and that's going to change at the end of this year because currently we have a burial funds that will, right now I think under the ARPA, a person would receive up to $5,000 for burial. At the end of this year, those funds have to be expended. So we will go back to the original amounts, which will be about $3,000. And that will be a drain on the judgment fund, because right now it is being carried by the government funds, by the federal emergency funds. But at the end of this year, it will go back to having to be funded by the trust fund, which will be an additional drain on it. So as you see, that we have to make a decision. Either we will have to reinvest or we will have to reduce benefits. And that means that instead of serving, the number of people will have to be decreased. Because, and then once that becomes a problem, then the amounts will have to be decreased. But that's just the reality of the matter. And we're going to do what we have to do to try to see if we can improve that.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if Representative Fulbright, if you yielded, because I'm sorry if I interrupted you. Well, one of the things that has always concerned me, and I've only been around the station about 10 years now, but I saw that under the Chief Harjo's administration, that, you know, here you said it's, back in those years, the income wasn't being, wasn't growing simply because investment income.
Correct.
And yet the population, that's what I always said was, the population of our tribe's grown and the income level went down, so that's decreased our investment. Now, where these funds currently are, if you bring it back to I'm going to call it a private market out here and start investing in it. Once again, my concern's always been having money wherever it's placed, property collateralized, so that it protects our interest within it. You mentioned the economy, if a bank failed or something.
Correct.
The FDIC or whoever can control, insuring our money so that we don't lose it, $36 million, whatever it is. And that's one of the things that has always concerned me, and something that should concern y'all. If you do decide, I ask the council to bring it back, that's something that needs to be considered at all times, is that we adequately have our money collateralized and protected, because we don't want to lose it if it's in one institution. We can diversify in several areas and protect it that way too. So
There will be a series of investments that will be presented to us. And as far as FDIC, that covers against loss, theft, or fraud. If we make investments that tank, then that's FDIC is not going to protect us against that.
Well,
if we lose money, we just lose money.
And I think sometimes, obviously you're a member of that board, and you're no banker, or you're no investor, you're no broker, obviously. So what we need to do is we check with the Interior. It's going to have to come from here. There's a process, but the challenge is still there and has been there for years. It's not something new. It's been around for a long time. As we increase in numbers as the Seminole Nation, everyone knows we've had to discontinue or suspend certain programs because of the yields from those investments at the federal level was not bringing the yields that actually supported our programs. So what could possibly propose, it's not there yet. I mean, it's up to the people. It's up to our people to do that. But there is a responsibility to show that. And there is a standing resolution for the Trust Fund Management Board to bring possible options to the council. And even if it was done that way, there's a whole process, even beyond this council, that would have to be done if it was. But it definitely is a serious issue, has been for years. Most administrations have not really entertained it, but it's something that's not going to go away as far as the low yields and the growth of our of our populations of Seminoles. So it's something that should at least be considered and listen to the, but it's nothing that can be decided here today. I think it's going to take a whole council meeting, public meetings, things of that nature to get out the possibilities. And most of what I realize about what has been spoken about from the treasurer is that these types of monies will be as if they were still the status of trust. They won't be, but it will be similar to that. So your laws that are in place under the judgment fund can still be implemented under that. And I know that's a great concern, to the council and to the people. So we know that those usage plans and things that originally developed years and years ago, we know that the United States Congress had a hand in that, and they had an intent of what these funds were going to be used for. And that intent of what they perceived and what we perceived as Seminole people still must be retained regardless of what direction the Seminole Nation goes. Okay. Any other questions for, did you see Representative Deathridge's hand? Representative Deathridge?
John, a couple of months ago, you told me over here that the Trust Fund Management Board did not have to come to the council to withdraw this $38 million, $42 million, whatever that amount is, in Albuquerque. Is that still your stance?
I have learned as recently that, yes, we do have a standing resolution that we will bring it before you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to
Yeah,
make sure
that is a resolution.
that you couldn't do what you told me.
Previously, I had been informed.
I will share this. Whatever the Seminole Nation does in the area of our trust funds, the people will know, this council will know, and it will be well thought out. That's what's kept us from doing anything, I think, being, well, first of all, not trusting administrations. That has been something that has happened over the years. The other thing is those things that were brought up. Are we going to lose it? Those things need to all be answered. And it needs to be something that is, if that's what we want to do, we can let the federal government do nothing with it. Because it sure ain't doing enough for our people where it's at. If there are no other questions for trust fund management, then we're going to move on to another item. No further questions. Thank you, Representative Narkini.
I will say that because this, as the chairman had said, this has been an issue for a long, long time. And it's been thought about, it's been tossed about, and we continue to toss this about because, as he said, this is not something that we're going to take lightly. I'm not sure whether y'all, rewarded me or punished me in putting me on this committee, but it is a immense responsibility because this affects the future of our nation. And it is not a decision I'm going to take lightly, regardless of whatever the policies may or may not be.
We'll send out that process, okay, to the tribal council. Attorney General has already went over the total process. If the nation desired to do anything in that nation, in that particular area. So, Attorney, if you could just send out that, would you?
Advice?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no other questions? Okay, thank you, Representative Narkini. I saw Representative Cootie, then I saw yours, Representative Petit. Representative Cootie? Yes, they have representatives here.
Yes. Stongo, Hisley Mahe. I think they have had some water problems. The tribe does have a water buffalo. That was made available for them, and so they were able to go ahead and have school. You know, they were able to wash the kids' hands and were able to flush the stools until that problem was resolved.
I talked to a couple of the workers there, and they were saying they were you know, just shut it down and everything, but she wouldn't do it because she said she had to have permission from the administration. But, you know, water bottles, you have to let the kids use that a lot, and everything needs a water bottle, that's a lot of work and everything, so.
But we also had the water buffalo available for them. And what had happened is workers had cut a water line. It was like something that, yeah.
But I'm just saying, you know, they could have just, you know, closed it down for a day or so and get past the church and take care of it instead of putting hard work on people that are working there and everything, so. But the other thing too is, did y'all have a problem with the bed bugs?
I haven't heard anything about bed bugs.
Well, there was a bed bugs problem and, I guess they didn't close the school down either, you know. It's the kids we're talking about. If there's something, you know, that could happen and we don't take care of them, you know, they get sick or whatever. And I worry about the parents that can't, you know, take care of their children and everything, so. But I just wanted to know if that happened or if it didn't, so.
Okay, I will find out about the bed bugs, but I hadn't heard anything about that.
I'll do the clarity of that because executive takes this very serious when things happen. Because when that water line was compromised by the incoming gas line that was being placed in, obviously that creates an issue. So you take a look at what the regulations are and what we can do to be able to stay open so that the services of the nation can continue. When you're dealing with that, you look at the safety of the children, you look at the parents whose children are going there. So there's an array of different areas. You know, when it's snowing in Canada, you know, we're not supposed to close because of inclement weather, you know, here in the Seminole Nation. So if it's snowing in Canada, you know, we're not concerned about closing. We're going to find solutions to these issues. They were remedied and they were fixed, and we moved on and still provided a service to the children and to those parents who have their children going to those facilities.
Just like I said, just the concern of the children, and I think things like that happens, at least close a day and take care of the problem, and then the kids come back. That would be better for the kids and the parents and everything.
Yeah, sometimes, though, when you do close, it creates a whole new set of problems for some of these parents who don't have provisions in place to have their children taken care of. So you have to weigh the whole gamut. You know, is it better to close? Is it better to keep it open? And we're going to try to keep the doors open if possible. Like I said, you know, some of the teachers may have been a little bit inconvenienced. You know, they may have had to haul water, and I think they had, you know, buckets of water, not water bottles too. So, but they were able to handle it. You know, back in the old days, we used to handle it just fine too. You know, so.
Maybe with a situation like that, it's a problem, so think about ahead and see if this happens again, what can we do to make it better for the children?
Okay.
Yeah, we did. We had a water buffalo that provided the need, and we purchased that a while back. So, you know, with any unforeseen situation, you deal with the situation at hand, and I believe the administration did that. Been nice to have a day off, though, wouldn't it? Any other questions? Representative Hill?
In conclusion with what Ms. Locke said pertaining to the incidents that occurred, okay, I know you have only 4, 2 or 3. It's the fact that what happened. It might be an issue to y'all, it might be nothing to y'all because, hey, kids gotta still be there, etc. One thing we gotta understand, they're little human beings, okay? Even though y'all might not have been made aware of it, but they had bed bugs also. That bed bugs, the kids, the children are on the bus. When the bus leaves here, it goes down to the childhood down there, at the post office. They transfer that down there, okay? They could multiply. They can go to the family's house, etc. Things like that. Yes, you have to shut it down, okay? Let the parents take care of the hair. Unless the executive wants to go ahead and shampoo every child's head, then do so. And not only that, in reference to the raw water running out, yes, it happened in the afternoon, 3 hours before school got out. It should have been shut down, okay? Because they had no water to drink, no water to flush the commodes, etc. When they defecated, etc.
the following day, did you know all the buses came and the teachers asked the director to shut it down, the school? They said no, because they said they could handle it. They had 9 bottles of water, 5 gallons in each one. We're talking about 45 gallons of water that the employees used in order to flush the commodes, okay? That's unsatisfactory, unsatisfactory. The smell, etc., and the employees have to do that. Yes, sure. The water buffalo came up later. Y'all probably don't know what a water buffalo is, okay? It's a big tank that carries water when you said in Vietnam. Not only that, the same morning when I got word from the teachers, 3 of them called me, said that, hey, there's no water for children to drink, no water to flush to come up. Did you know that I got on this thing called phone, and I called the complex, and I let it word, I tried to talk to the chief, and they said he was in a meeting. I said, would you please call me, tell him that it's an emergency? However, did you know, I guess the phone did not work. I left word for him to call me back, okay? Maybe it's a new era. Maybe we need to go back into the old era, and the phones don't work, and maybe y'all can send me smoke signal. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Decisions were made, problems were corrected. DHS was totally in agreement with the actions that the administration took to be able to continue to provide services to the members of the Seminole Nation. So I know sometimes additional things are kind of highlighted, and there is no way you can say that this administration don't care for our children or for our people. And if you're saying that, if you're trying to implement that, if you're trying to even say something of that, then I'll tell you right now, you are wrong. As the chairman of the Seminole Nation Council and the chief, that is not true, not the case.
And I just want to put this out there again, you know, the rumors and the hearsay. There's been a lot of rumors and hearsay going on, and I've seen some of
on the council floor. Okay.
Yes, no, but I'm just going to say that there is a certain flow that you have to go to. You know, you have your flow chart, you know, your director, then your center supervisors, and then your teachers. And when someone is going out of line to report problems, then they are not following our procedures. So I just wanted to say that.
By the time that it hits us, I will assure you that we have pulled already, you know, such as a water issue, maintenance, everybody in. We gather the information, and we don't take these things lightly. Okay. She had her hand up. This is your second time to speak to the measure.
Like you said, you know, you have a problem, you have to do what you have to do at that moment. I understand that, but what I'm saying is that happens. So next time we have a meeting or something, say we had this problem. So what can we do to alleviate that problem? You know, kids to another building or whatever the case might be. You know, just something that you can handle the situation.
Okay.
You know, I understand that things happen, but, you know, that's when we learn and do something better or something different.
Okay, thank you.
I want to comment, you know, that type of pest that you commented on usually is not in the hair of individuals. That's usually brought to the facility in somebody's clothing, somebody's bag. And I will say that we took immediate response to it, and there was only one single pest that was found in that. It was not an infestation, and we have policies to deal with that as well. So, you know, it may sound like to make it the biggest issue that there is right here. We addressed it, and those are concerns of ours, when something like that happens. So, in no way would you ever want to isolate that individual child and pinpoint him to embarrass them in any way. So there was a process that we did to make sure that it's safer if there's some issues at the homes and they're bringing them, you know, to the center. So we do what we can, and we try to do it in a timely manner as well. Representative Deathridge.
No questions for Ms. Borba, but I want to find out about Seminole.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Borba. Division of Commerce. Division of Commerce. Division of oh, yes. Thank you, sir. Chief, can you just kind of share this with me? I'll do that.
I'm going to try to find the right distance because it's really reverberating back. So if you can hear me, fine, let me know. If you can't, also let me know. We'll work from there. Mr. Dethridge.
All right, Joe. You have 5 pieces of legislation that's going to come before the council today. Are you going to make yourself available this afternoon, or will we need to ask questions about this legislation now?
We'll be available this afternoon. We also have a couple of the people we're working with on each project. They'll be here to make a short presentation to answer questions that I can't answer. Because there's some of the, when you get into solar and some other things, there's a lot more technical information than I possess. So they'll be here to help with those.
I'll hold all my questions till this afternoon. Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you. Are there any other questions members have? Well, I think, like Mr. Jesse, we've got about 6 items on the agenda this afternoon, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about those items. So.
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other requests for committees?
Madam.
Representative Lambert.
BCR.
BCR, do we have representatives from BCR? We do. BCR is being requested to report. The committee or board. Okay.
Good morning.
Might adjust that down a little bit. There you go.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Good morning, everybody.
I was just wanting us to give an update because we've been very busy with the DCR with a lot of things that are going on with the tobacco compacts and with tags, and I just give some reassurance that it is okay to continue to buy your tags from our DCR. And then just some of the updates on what we've been doing as a commission to guard our sovereignty.
Okay, I'll let Sharon.
Okay, thank you. As far as tribal tags, we've been working with several organizations and federally recognized tribes in the state of Oklahoma that issue tags. We've been working through the Oklahoma Intertribal Tax Association, which I'm a president of, and United Indian Nations of Oklahoma. There are attorney work groups. They're divided into 3 sections. The first section is to look at a public statement to make sure that our messaging is aligned across the state. And the second work group is looking at compact language in case some tribes want to go through compact. I don't think it's the position of the commission to go that route. We simply, it wouldn't benefit the nation at all, in my opinion. The third work group is looking at a memorandum of understanding, an intertribal agreement that allows us to honor each other's laws and to pass through without harm. There have only been a handful of tags or citations issued for taxes owed to the state for tribal members that live outside of their jurisdiction. There have been 3 that have gone to court and have been dismissed by the judge. We haven't had any new reports of any new citations. We are getting calls daily about people that are driving with the busted windshield, the missing mirror, expired tags, and the council didn't approve of us to help with those things. We're just interested in finding out those people that have had citations for taxes owed to the state. We had a gentleman from Choctaw area, Choctaw country, that had an issue with the local law enforcement, contacted our BCR attorney, and he resolved that issue with the city. The citations that were issued to the Oto Missouri tag, the original tag, was dismissed. So was Osage and an Osage tag. Those were both in Garfield County, and they were dismissed, but there wasn't a reason given. Recently, within the last 2 weeks, a person from the Caddo area, Caddo tribe, was issued a tag, and that was also dismissed. And again, they're not posting what the reason for dismissal is, but what that's telling me is law enforcement is backing off from the rhetoric that the Department of Public Safety put out back in October, November. As far as tobacco compacts, we are working again with several tribal organizations and the tribes across the country. We have 3 meetings set up this week to discuss these issues. Going back to tags, I will say that there's state legislation that has been passed through committee. It's a Senate Bill 1907, and what it's doing is trying to circumvent tribes getting an agreement with the Oklahoma Turnpike Association, which I feel is at the base of this issue. They're writing legislation that would allow the Oklahoma law enforcement telecommunications system to share the data that tribes upload every night with the Oklahoma Turnpike Association. They cannot do that without our permission. That's our data. So we have an emergency meeting. The Oklahoma Intertribal Tax Association has an emergency meeting with tax administrators and tribal attorneys on Tuesday the 5th, to discuss those issues. And I will say that there is, how we found out was one of my colleagues from Kickapoo Nation went to the Native American Caucus last month, and they presented that bill. So as soon as he heard, he called me as a colleague and as the president of the OITA, and we have scheduled a meeting. And it's on November, March 5th, and the next Native American Caucus meeting is on March 12th at the Capitol. It's an open public meeting. You don't have to register to attend, and I'm going to encourage all of the tribes that attend our meeting on the 5th to go and send representation, and you as General Counsel, I encourage you to attend and they're not only going to discuss this, but any other issues, legislation that involves tribes. Switch back to tobacco, we're working on that. We have a work group within the Intertribal Council of the 5 Tribes Taxation Subcommittee. We meet bi-weekly to discuss issues. As you may have seen in the paper, Chickasaws and have signed a tobacco compact. Cherokee Nation is working on one. Tribal leaders have met to discuss the issue and what our stopping points are. We're working as a commission with the AG and the Muskogee Creek Nation to look at our treaties and how that would impact a possible compact. Our tribal BCR attorney has drafted a first draft, and we're reviewing that, and we'll present that to the commissioners once we make sure that we have everything that we need addressed in there, and then from there it'll go to executive, and then it'll go to you all. Representative Cootie? Okay.
Go ahead. Cootie. Here, and then we'll come back around.
They said that we had a problem with that ban here in Florida, and something wrong with the tag. Do you know what it was?
There is nothing wrong with the tag. The state of Florida is hostile towards tribal tags. I looked up the registration. I wasn't informed about it until after it already happened. I looked it up. Their registration was valid. They had insurance in the vehicle. Florida is, like I said, is hostile towards tribes. As far as 2 years ago, they didn't recognize tribal tags. Since then, Cherokee Nation supported one of their tribal members who was having trouble transferring their tribal Cherokee tag to the state of Florida. They went with them, advocated for them, and attended an administrative hearing. They sided with the Cherokee tribal citizen, and they changed their admin policies. And so they now do recognize tribal tags. We haven't had any calls from tribal members, our tribal members that are relocating to Florida, transferring their tags over. But that's not to say that law enforcement has prejudice against tribes. So there was nothing wrong with that tag. And unfortunately, miscommunication. Yeah. Right, and we do connect with, we transfer our data every night at midnight to the Oklahoma law enforcement telecommunication system. That data is then transferred to at the federal level. So that information should be good wherever you go within the United States.
Representative Pittman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you tell me the dates of the meeting on March 5th? Where's the location and time?
It's a virtual meeting. If you would like to attend, please email me at scott@bcrcommission.com or call the office and give us your email address and I can send you that link. It's a Zoom meeting.
What's your number at the office?
405-382-8617, option 1.
And you said you will be at the Native American caucus meeting on the 12th?
On the 12th, yes. And I encourage anyone that would like to go to hear about what the state's doing as far as tribal issues, attend that as well.
Okay, will you prepare a sheet for those members that says the BCR recommends that we oppose this bill and here's the reasons why?
This will be my first meeting, so I'm still gathering information myself. I didn't attend the February meeting.
Okay, well, I'd like to help you prepare for that.
Okay, perfect.
So, because when they get it, if you tell them your stance on it, rather than just hearing it, your advocacy begins right then.
Okay,
And you can also send that to the chairman prior to the meeting.
okay,
And you have two chairmen, Representative Ken Latrell and Representative AJ Pittman. And if you'll email them, they'll send it to the members, and then when you come,
okay.
prepare at that meeting.
And I will say that, I'm sorry, that there are bills that have to do with the Oklahoma Turnpike. It seems like the state legislators aren't happy with the Turnpike and how they're doing business. There's also a bill that has been submitted, I don't know if it's gotten past committee yet, that was sponsored by Danny Williams, who represents our area, that's encouraging the legislators and the state government to work with tribes. There are also two bills that I've seen that are hoping to extend compacts past the 24 extension that was done during the veto override last summer to 2028. And that information was given to us by the AG's office. She has somebody that was reviewing that information.
Are you aware that the Oklahoma Turnpike's chairman has possibly resigned?
Yes, he resigned all 3 posts and he was reappointed back to 1 post.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that they got a shakeup.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay.
Okay. Representative Fulbright?
And this is just a conclusion of Representative Pittman. Can you email us on our portal this virtual meeting?
Yes.
We have a separate email, but I can send it to the general counsel secretary and she can get it out to you all.
Okay, and then that March 12th, just kind of let us, so a reminder.
Okay.
For that for us.
Okay.
Because I'm sure we'd like to sit in on
Okay.
And not only the March 12th meeting, but the council, we rarely have Seminole representation at the council meetings, but it's every second Tuesday of the month from 12 to 1 at the state capitol. So anytime
And
you want to come, it's open.
And going off of what she said, building off of that, a lot of the smaller tribes in the state, and I'm including us in that, we don't have the funds or the staff to be stationed up there like the other 4 tribes that are in ITC. So it would be beneficial. And what I was told when Representative Lambert and I went to DC was that an elected official has more weight. Their words have more weight with legislators than a staff member like myself. So it's important that we're represented.
And if you'll inform me, I attend those meetings
Okay.
regularly, so
Okay.
if you need a general counsel person there, I'm
Okay.
15 minutes away from the Capitol.
Okay.
So
I'm going to give you my card, because if something like this comes up again, I would like to have a heads up before another tribe calls me and says, hey, this is going on. Okay, so I'll give you my card.
thank you.
Representative Dethridge.
Mr. Scott, there's a piece of legislation that's coming up at the end of today's meeting, TR 2024-19, and it's dealing with the UINO. Mr. Shaw is sponsoring this legislation. Can you expound on the importance of the Seminole Nation being more involved in the UINO again, please?
Okay, the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma was originally the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. I don't know who was first, but it originally came about because the state was fighting tribes over tobacco compacts, tobacco taxes. And so this organization has been working since that time. They recently revised their bylaws, and it's just Oklahoma now. They don't include Texas and Kansas anymore because our needs are so different and our laws are so different. And I think there are 22 tribes that are members. I'm an individual member. The BCR as an office is also a member, and they are strong advocates. I would liken it to the NCAI, National Indian Congress, as a state organization. And they advocate on behalf of all tribes, not just the big tribes, but the smaller tribes too. They bring people in. The first meeting that I went to was in last May, and they had political analysts that talked about different types of legislation that came through, the reasoning why Native people don't vote, to give us a way to try to express the importance to our tribal members that you need to vote in tribal elections, but you also need to vote in local, state, and national elections, because by electing officials that understand tribal needs, it helps those of us that are working with tribes to be more successful for our people. If we have people in office who understand about tribes and our sovereignty, and that we need to be partners and not adversaries.
Any other questions for BCR? Any questions? Okay, thank you, ladies, for being here this morning. We're about just a few minutes until 12, and what is the council's desire? I know as far as lunches today, there are some wild onion dinners going on. Does anyone have any, if there's no other committees or commissions to be called up, and we do have a full agenda this afternoon as well, what's the desire of the council? What time do we want to meet back? Say 1:30 or so? 1:30? 1:30? Okay, 1:30. Someone wants to go to Salt Creek. Wild onion dinner. Yeah, I think you can come up under the when the directors come this afternoon. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's consider ourselves, if there's no objections to it, to be in recess until we come back in order. About 1:30, everybody. And any other announcements about wild onion dinners or fundraisers going on? Salt Creek Church is having one there at the Creek Community Center there in Holdenville. That's always a really big one. All right, thank you. Enjoy your lunch.